Welcome to UK Property Accountants. My name is Richard Siddons and I'm an associate at UKPA. Today we're going to look at SDLT, Stamp Duty Land Tax, more specifically multiple dwellings relief. To help me unpick the details of multiple dwellings relief, I have with me today Jony Mainaly from the Legal and Compliance Tax team, and she's a senior manager within the team. Welcome, Jony.
Thank you, Richard.
Before we get into the details of multiple dwelling relief, can you explain for the viewers today what SDLT is specifically?
Stamp duty land tax, SDLT, is a form of tax, land transaction tax, imposed on the purchase of the properties and land with values above certain threshold, Richard.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that there's different thresholds and there's different rates that apply to those thresholds.
Yes, that is correct. And different threshold applies, and there's different rate, percentage rate in different value of the property applies. For example, for a UK resident, while purchasing a first property in the UK, the rate can be for any amount less than 250K would be 0%. Whereas for any property value above 1.5 million, it can go above, 12% of the same rate. Whereas for a non-UK resident, purchasing the second property in the UK, for example, an additional dwelling, the percentage can go from 5% to as high as 17%. So that is how the different threshold applies in between. So that is how SDLT in the UK works.
What's multiple dwellings relief, Jony?
Multiple dwellings relief is also a form of SDLT relief, where one can avail the relief from the SDLT amount payable while purchasing the property, land or property, in a single or a linked transactions, where there are conditions attached to it, where, as name suggests, there has to be at least 2 or more dwellings in the purchase. And how SDLT in multiple dwellings relief works is the total value of the property, the total consideration, is divided by the number of dwellings, right? So when the number of dwellings divides the total considerations, that would give a lower threshold where the lower rate of SDLT is applied. As a result, that reduces the SDLT amount liable. So that is how multiple dwellings relief work.
Mm-hmm. Jony, can you explain to our viewers precisely what a dwelling is?
Well, understanding dwelling from a legal perspective is quite different than what would a layperson understand a dwelling as. There are different criteria and conditions to assess or determine a dwelling. Mm-hmm. So we, in order to meet the legal criteria, we make different assessment in terms of, for example, the privacy of a dwelling, security issues, independence from each other dwelling, for example, and a planning consent from a local authority would be some of the important conditions where how we determine a dwelling is. So it is very important that understanding dwelling is not as same as how a layperson understand it as in multiple dwelling reliefs context.
Jony, I had heard that the government is abolishing multiple dwellings relief. Can you explain to the viewers what's going on, please?
Well, the government is not planning to abolish it, but it has already effective from 1st June 2024. And any transaction that happens after 1st of June 2024, one cannot claim multiple dwellings relief on that. Whereas there is a condition, any contracts that has been exchanged on or before 6th of March 2024, one can avail multiple dwellings relief regardless of any date they complete after 1st of June 2024.
By the sounds of it, Jony, if someone completes on their property after the 1st of June, they can't access this multiple dwellings relief. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Richard. Any transactions that happens after 1st of June 2024, multiple dwellings relief cannot be claimed. However, any transaction that completed before 1st of June, within 12 months period after the completion of completion date, one can still make a claim for a multiple dwellings relief. If we need to again ascertain there should be certain criteria that meets. If that is available, one can definitely make a claim, but the deadline would be 12 months from the date of completion.
Before we finish today's video, I know my colleague Jony is keen to get in a quick disclaimer. Over to you, Jony.
So in any statements we have made recently, there are conditions attached to different levels and different areas. For example, in ascertaining multiple dwellings relief, to the application of dates like 6th March, on or before 6th March, and also in making a claim within 12 months period. There are different conditions attached to it. You need to make sure that you approach us, you discuss with us, we make an assessment of the same, and we'll get back to you with the right assessment whether or not you can avail the multiple dwellings relief within that window period.
Jony, thank you for the quick disclaimer and for your time today.
Thank you, Richard.
You're most welcome. Viewers, as you can see, there are a lot of ifs and buts that are attached to multiple dwelling relief. In my experience advising on this, I would recommend that you do seek professional advice. If you do choose UK property accountants, then please feel free to give myself or a colleague a call and book your free 15-minute discovery call so we can understand your situation and get the exact advice and help that you need for financial peace of mind. Thank you for watching today. Good luck with everything.